Hey boys and girls, so today is Tuesday the 24th of March, and so by now you should have finished your first week of your packet, and now we're on week 2 of our packet. So if you flip to the very next page right after week 2, it gives you the outline of everything you need to do. So for day 1, you're reading the article George Washington Carver, and then you're going to follow the directions on the next sheet. And then you're going to do your geodes, those same thing where you're going to be reading a geode and thinking like a notice and wonder that you want to write or explore about. We're going to do our phonics, week 2, day 1. We'll do our math at the farm stand, and it looks like there's a 2-day part. And make sure you're doing reading. If you don't have books in your house, you actually can go to Dayton Metro Library's website, and it will allow you to pull up some digital books. There's also some good websites that you can pull up some books and you can listen to those. So if you're doing audiobooks, that counts as well, okay? On the very next page, where it says for reading, for the article George Washington Carver, make sure to read the article, have your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa read it to you first, and then you can read it to them, and then come up with a question like a notice and wonder, and then write 1 or 2 sentences about what you've learned, and then make sure that you continue to read that to mom and dad. That's a good practicing tool. So here's our article, George Washington Carver. And it talks a lot about, it connects to our civil rights movement section in Wit and Wisdom. So on our phonics for week 2, day 1, you're dealing with suffixes. So you have words that have a base, it's a base word, and then you add a suffix. So remember, you underline the base word and you circle the suffix in each word. So let's see. For an example, I can find my marker. So if we have the word cup, full, what you're going to do is you underline that base word or that root word cup, and you circle that suffix full. And we know that the suffix full refers to something that it's filled with. So if you have a cup full of something, your cup is filled up with it, okay? And then at the bottom, you write how many syllables each word has in the chart, like cabin, clap out cabin, 2 syllables. We know there's 2 verbs that are not next to each other, so that means that it's a 2-syllable word. So cabin, cabin, you split right here. That consonant is going to go with that second syllable. We're going to cabin. Okay, we're going to block that off. Mark those up as well. And then for math, you're identifying shapes, basic shapes like squares, triangles, rectangles, and then there's a math story book to go along with it, okay? If you have any questions, have mom or dad ask me over Blooms. All right, so today we're gonna jump into math. Now, if we were in class at school, we would be doing lesson 9.5. So yesterday we did a story problem using units of measurement, specifically centimeters. Well, today we're going back to the real stuff. We're doing measurement. Now we are still talking about centimeters, and we know that in a ruler, there are about 30 centimeters in a 12-inch ruler. There's a little more than 30 centimeters in a 12-inch ruler. Now today we're going to talk about another unit of measurement, still using centimeters, but this is a unit of measurement that we use for bigger objects. So we're going to talk about meters, and meter stick is something that I showed you in class. Now unfortunately I don't have a meter stick here, but what we're going to do is we're going to think about, hey, we know there's 30 centimeters in our ruler. There is 100 centimeters in 1 meter, or 1 meter stick. So if we're making our ruler, a meter stick would be 1, 2, 3, and then a little more, 10 more. So that would give us 100. 3 ruler sticks plus 10 more centimeters equals 1 meter. Now, if you have a ruler, that's awesome. If you don't, I sent your parents a link yesterday where they can print off a paper ruler. If you don't have a printer, if you have a dollar bill, you know a dollar bill is about 6 inches or just about 15 centimeters. So if we're measuring those, think about that. So we need to have $2 for one ruler of 30 centimeters. So we're going to have $1, $2 to get 100 centimeters, $3, $4, $5, $6, and a little more. So that's going to be a lot of work, but it's something you can certainly try, okay? So what we're going to do is I want you to go around the house and I want you to find 5 objects that you're going to measure that you think would be about a meter long, okay? So for example, let's try our dresser. So I'm gonna start at the very bottom. Now the tricky thing is normally we start at that 0 or the bottom line, starting line, going all the way down to the floor. It's pretty close. So we put our finger to where that 30 is, or the end of your ruler. So that's 1 ruler, or 30. I put my finger there. That's 2 rulers, or about 60. And then this one is close to 3 rulers, so it's about 90. It's probably about 89. So is it quite a meter? Is it just exactly 100 centimeters? No, but it's pretty close. Now, if we use our chair here, we know this chair, if we're comparing it to our dresser, it's a little taller than that. So we know our dresser is about 90 centimeters, so it's probably going to be pretty close to 100. It might be a little shorter, so let's start at the very bottom. So we say, okay, here's 1 ruler, that's 30 centimeters, 2 rulers, that's 60, 3 rulers, that's 90. It's a little more than that, it's about 95. So this chair is just about 95 centimeters long. It's really close to a meter. Now let's try our board. Let's do one more. So this one I really can start at a 0. So I use my finger for that place mark at the end of the 30 and I can slide it down. So that's 1 ruler. Slide it down, that's 2. So 1 ruler will give me 30 centimeters. 2 rulers will give me 60. 3 rulers will give me 90, and this is about 4 rulers, so it's a little longer than a meter. So a meter is used to measure objects that are a little bigger than what we would normally measure with just a regular ruler. Remember, the bigger the unit of measurement, the faster you can measure things. So people would probably use meters to measure the length of their driveway, or maybe how big their basement is, things like that. How wide or how tall your wall is. So remember, I want you to go through your house and do your best measurement as far as picking about 5 things that seem to be close to about 1 meter. Write them down, draw them, and give me a total of how much or how long that object is or how tall it is, okay? So that's what we're working on today. The next thing we're doing is we're going to jump right into Fundations. Now, if we were at school, we would be going over a review test, a practice test. Not our actual test, but our practice test. So what I want you to do is, if you have paper and a pencil, and remember I sent home pencils for you guys. If you have something to write on, I want you to try and practice these guys, okay? So the first thing I want you to try is that we're gonna do 4 sounds. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, you're welcome to pause the video after I ask you to write it down so you have a minute to think about what you're going to write down, okay? So for the first sound we're gonna do, I want you to do the 2 ways that you can make the ow sound. 2 ways that you can make the ow sound. I'll give you a second. Pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and write the answer. So 2 ways we can write the ow sound is OU, like as in out, and then OW, okay? Those vowel teams, we'd circle them, put a D underneath it. The next thing I want you to write is I want you to write all the ways you can do the sound. Let's do the sound. Remember, there are 3 ways to write the sound. Take a minute and think. And then we're gonna do ER, IR, and UR. Remember, those are the R-controlled vowel teams. ER, IR, UR all make the sound, okay? The next one, let's do all the ways that you can make the long A sound. So all the ways that we can make the long A sound. Okay, think for a minute. So we know that we can have A-E, A, AI, we can do AY, and we have 4 ways we can write the long A sound. Now this is a sound that we did at the beginning of the year, and we don't do it a lot because we don't hear it a lot in words, but this is a good reminder. I want you to think of the letter that makes a X sound. X sound as in fox, fox. So think about that, and I'm sure you remember that it's the X. The X makes a X sound, okay? So here's our 4 sounds, and I'm not gonna give you as many words as I normally do, but I can give you a couple just to practice, okay? So the first word, let's do the word towing. Towing. Now remember, there are 2 ways that we can write the word toe. One has to do with your foot, and the other one has to do with like you're towing something. And then in this case, we're doing like we're towing something. So we know it's we have the O, W. In this case, we have the suffix towing. That's our I-N-G. We circle it O-W. We have our I-N-G. We scoop that there because we're only worried about the syllable that goes along with the base word, okay? And then the next word, let's do mower. Mower. Okay, so mow, we have that O sound, but we know at the end it's often O-W. Mower. We have the suffix er. Once again, mow, we're only worried about that base word syllable. Circle that O-W. In fact, what I want to do is the ER. Let's actually circle the ER, sorry. I underlined it, but I really want to circle it, and we want to underline our base word, okay? So those are our 2. Let's do 2 trick words. Now, trick words we know are called trick words because you can't tap them out. Okay? So, let's do Thursday, and then we'll do bought. Let's do Thursday and bought. So, Thursday. Think about the word. If you need to look at your calendar, we can go ahead and do that, but Thursday. Thursday. That's a good one to practice at home. And then bought, like you bought something, B-O-U-G-H-T. Now, I'm going to give you a sentence. I'm going to tell you the sentence. I would pause the video and write it down, and then go ahead and press play, because I'm going to go ahead and just write the sentence for you. Okay? So our sentence is, why is that man frowning? Why is that man frowning? Think about punctuation. Think about the suffix that goes in the last word. This is our last thing we're going to do. So I'm going to write it down. You can pause it. So why is that man oops. Question mark, and see if you can mark this one up as well. Okay? We're going to pause, and I'm going to do a read aloud.